All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're exploring a fascinating new myth, one that takes a very famous philosophical journey and just flips it completely on its head. This is the story of Maximus, a figure who finds his power not by climbing up to the light, but by descending deep into the darkness.
And the story kicks off with this incredible challenge to everything we think we know. I mean, that one sentence just says it all, right? It's basically telling us that what we see, what we touch, our day-to-day, that's just the surface. The real truth is somewhere much, much deeper.
So, who is this Maximus? Well, we first meet him in a subterranean vault that he literally carved for himself under the Anatolian soil. And this isn't just some cave, It's a whole world he built, a place of total, self-imposed isolation.
For 10 years, a full decade, just try to wrap your head around that. Living in complete, total darkness, cutting yourself off from the sun, from people, from what he calls the chatter of the marketplace. This intense period of isolation is what completely forges him into something new.
And the place he built is incredibly specific and sophisticated. He used ancient Byzantine hypogeum techniques. We're talking about genius-level underground engineering, circular air vents, massive stone doors that pivot on hidden balances, and arched vaults that are strong enough to hold up an entire mountain. This detail grounds his story in a very real, very powerful piece of history.
So what on earth was he doing down there for a decade? He was mastering one of the fundamental forces of the universe, magnetism. And he wasn't just studying it in a book. He was learning to feel the planet's magnetic ley lines, almost like they were strings on a giant harp. He actively ignored the sun, focusing all his attention on the power pulsing from the Earth's core. And this, right here, is the absolute core of his philosophy. Think about it. All our stories of enlightenment talk about looking up, reaching for the sun, for the light. Maximus does the exact opposite. He looks for a foundational power, a power drawn right from the bedrock of the world. It's a total flip of perspective.
So after 10 years, something changes. His time in the dark is coming to an end. But he isn't waiting for the sun to come find him. No, he has decided to become a sun for the depths and rise to the surface himself.
And the reason he emerges is entirely internal. It's this idea that his cup was overfull. He's so filled with this new power, this new understanding, that he can't contain it anymore. He has to rise. He has to let it overflow into the world.
His emergence from the ground is just pure drama. He stands in front of this massive limestone slab, a gate he carved himself, and he doesn't just push it open. He strikes it with something called his magical dagger, and this bioelectric surge, this mix of ancient magic and raw force, just shatters the seal. Now get this, as he steps out into the blinding light, he doesn't talk to the sun the way Nietzsche's Zarathustra did. He speaks directly to the earth. He frames himself not as some creature living on the planet, but as a fundamental force that actually sustains it from below. It's just an incredible declaration of power and purpose. So where does he pop up? Not in some quiet, ancient town. No, he emerges right into the heart of a modern, crumbling metropolis that was literally built on top of his hidden home. And right away, he's met with the mocking, curious stares of the modern world. And this is his instant diagnosis of our world. He sees all of humanity as a tightrope walker, balanced precariously. But the rope itself, our spiritual foundation, our values, it's fraying. It's about to snap. It's a really powerful and, frankly, disturbing image of where we're at. The crowd, of course, just laughs at him. They mock his old robes, his primitive-looking dagger, but Maximus, he doesn't even bother arguing. He knows words are just part of the surface noise. He decides to answer with a pure revelation of power. He just raises his hand, and in that one instant, through his mastery of magnetism, every single spinning motor, every fan, every digital screen, every piece of technology in that entire city square just stops. The RPM drops to zero. Everything goes dead. Can you even imagine that? The constant hum of a modern city, just gone. The chatter from 1,000 devices, gone. The silence he creates is absolute, and in that silence, people are finally forced to confront a power that comes from a place they can't even begin to comprehend. But he's not done, not even close. To show them what he calls the fluidity of values, the idea that reality is way more malleable than we think, he does something even more impossible.
He literally commands the weather.
He pulls the humidity right out of the air and conjures a localized ice storm right there in the middle of a warm afternoon. And he just stands in the middle of the hail, completely untouched. A true sovereign who mastered the world by first mastering the deep.
Okay, so we've seen the story play out. Now let's actually break down the core philosophical idea here, because this whole thing is a very deliberate and direct response to one of the most famous ideas in philosophy.
Here it is, side by side. Nietzsche's Zarathustra is all about the mountaintop, the heights. He gets his wisdom from the sun, and his goal is to go down, to share it. Maximus is the perfect mirror image. He's in the depths, a hypogeum. He draws his power from the Earth's core, from magnetism, and his goal is to rise up. One guy finds wisdom in the sky, the other finds the will to power in the bedrock.
So what's the big takeaway? What's the ultimate message of Maximus and this journey up from the deep? Well, it's really about a totally new source of power, and maybe a new way of seeing the world.
Remember his choice of Byzantine architecture? That wasn't random. That empire was a crucial bridge in history. It connected the ancient and modern worlds, the East and the West. So by rooting himself in that tradition, Maximus is positioning himself as a figure who can unite different worlds of knowledge.
So his home, that underground vault, it was more than just a shelter. It was like a citadel, a laboratory where he synthesized the old world's magic, the dagger, with the new world's fundamental forces, like magnetism and electricity. He literally forged them together in the dark.
And this all leads to his final, absolutely stunning declaration to the terrified people in the square. He says he's a traveler from the very heart of reality, the core that they've all been living on top of without a second thought. And his purpose? It's not just to rule them, it's to teach them, to show them how to wield this foundational power, how to bleed lightning.
And that leaves us with this final, massive question. For centuries, we've been told to look up, to the sun, to the sky, for our wisdom and enlightenment. This story dares us to look down, to look inward, to look at the bedrock beneath our feet. And it asks, if light gives us one kind of knowledge, what kind of raw, foundational power have we been ignoring this whole time?